Show you how to blink multiple LEDs independently of each other using an Arduino Uno or a knockoff Arduino like this one. You'll also need the AV cable that goes to your computer, some jumper wires, and a breadboard. Let's get started by opening up the Arduino IDE. Here in this IDE, you can see that I've created some starter code for us to use. Go ahead and upload the code. I provided this code in the description below. Once it says done uploading, let's start wiring up your LEDs. The first wire you want to add is a jumper wire that goes from the GND pin on your Arduino to the minus row on your breadboard. Then you want to add a wire that goes from pin 13 on your Arduino to one of the vertical rows on your breadboard. I'm going to add it to row 30. Finally, it's time to add one of my LEDs. Remember that when you wire up an LED, all LEDs have a long leg and a short leg, and the shorter leg is the leg that always needs to be attached to the GND row, and the long leg is always going to need to be attached to the signal row. In this case, the signal row is the row that is being fed from pin 13, and the GND row is the negative row. There's my first LED, successfully blinking. Let's go back to the code to see how we can add another LED. In understanding this code, we know that this line of code just defines an LED, names it the word LED, and attaches it to pin 13. So I'm going to duplicate that line of code and I'm going to attach it to pin 12, making sure that I name the new LED something separate. I'm going to do the same thing with this line of code here, which sets the pin as an output for the LED. However, in this case, of course, it needs to be for LED 2. And then I'm going to copy and paste this block of 4 lines of code that controls the LED to go on, wait a second, go off, wait a second. And I'm going to replace LED with LED 2. So now I have code that should control 2 LEDs to blink, one after the other. I'm going to go ahead and upload that code and then go back to my wiring. We know, based on the code, that the second LED was attached to pin 12. So I'm going to wire a new jumper wire over to a new row on my breadboard, and I'm going to make sure it comes from pin 12 on the Arduino. Let me grab my LED, and again making sure that the long leg of the LED is on the signal wire and the short leg goes on GND. There's the second LED lighting up. We're going to repeat this process for 2 more LEDs. So I'm going to copy and paste this twice, and I'm going to name this one LED 3, this one LED 4, and I'm going to attach them to pins 11 and 10 respectively. Here I'm going to copy this line of code and I'm going to ensure that my Arduino IDE states that my LED 3 and my LED 4 are also outputs. And down here I am going to grab these 4 lines of code and I'm going to paste them down again. And again I am going to make sure that I'm coding LED 3 and LED 4 to turn on and off. When you're finished, go ahead and upload your code. Once it's done uploading, it's time to add our new LEDs. So again, I'm going to take a jumper wire. This time I'm going to add it to pin 11 and somewhere on the breadboard. And then I'm going to line up my third LED with that. So in this case, it's line 20 on the breadboard. And then I'm going to add 1 additional jumper wire to pin 10 on the Arduino, somewhere on the breadboard, and make sure that my long leg of my 4th LED is lining up with that and goes into the ground row. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, my fourth LED isn't lighting up. Make sure. I had the long leg of the LED in GND. There we go. It's all working. You can continue to add LEDs in this manner until you run out of pins on your Arduino. And one final fun thing that we can do is we can change the speed at which your LEDs blink. So I'm going to change it to where they are all blinking a little bit faster by changing all of these 1000s, which represent 1 full second, to 200s, which would represent 2/10 of a second. And when I upload the code, you can see that the speed is going to change and everything is going to go much faster. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you.